incredibly unfortunate that your child has to suffer in that situation, and they won't even hear your
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. So would you say that's also in violation of parental kidnapping?
It all depends. I mean, if the courts have already given him jurisdiction over that, where they do
Mhm.
have him as guardian, as legal guardian, parent, or whatever,
Mhm.
uh, and that you're kind of stuck at that point with that idea. You trying to fight the system and continuing to push for your rights is something that you should continue to do. Do you
Yeah.
are you represented at all?
Not yet. I'm seeking representation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get there.
And
Whatever
Yeah.
it's
you have to
really
do.
important because a lot of people think they can handle cases like this on their own. And honestly, Dolly, people have tried. People call me and they say, Georgette, we filed this. The paperwork came out wrong. The judge denied
Mhm.
it. We need, and they spend a lot of money on just filing for cases,
No.
to
Yeah.
be heard. And the judge is not going to accept it if it's not done correctly. And oftentimes people try to take matters in their own hand and then they end up exhausting all the money they had trying to do cases on their own. And it's very important. People don't understand that you're not an attorney, right? To go
Mhm.
fight your own case, it takes attorneys years of experience. They actually have to work cases to get better at it, right? So
Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. Davis always says it's like you have a heart disease going to a foot doctor and asking the foot
Mhm.
doctor to help you with your heart disease. It's not going to happen. The same thing when you go to court. You're actually acting like an attorney and you're not an attorney and you don't even know how to address the court. You don't know what to do,
Right.
how to complete files correctly. We have a lady that went into the file room in downtown LA. I think it's room 426, where they have like free legal help, and
Mhm.
asked them to help her with her court documents. And she explained to them what she needed. She said after 2 hours waiting for 2 hours to be helped, the person there told her gave her the wrong information and filled the paperwork wrong. Then when she went to
Mhm.
file, it was denied because it wasn't completed correctly. So again, it's very important for people to understand that it's important to get an attorney, period. There is
Yeah.
no I can do this on my own.
yeah.
It doesn't
And
work.
it's like that with any situation when you're dealing with
Yeah.
courts. Let's I use this example on a lot of people that ask for help, but yet they're not ready to ask, whether it's for a lawyer, or in my case, a private investigator. I tell them, I go, okay, you want to fight for whatever your belief is. You want your children back. You want the other parent
Mhm,
looked at, investigated,
mhm,
but you have to know how to fight. If you're getting
Mhm.
into a boxing match, you're just not going to say, okay, well, I'm going to try and train on my own to fight this. You're going to get into a fight in a situation that you believe in 100%, like you do, and like many parents do.
Yeah.
You're going to need the right coaches. You're going to need the right trainers, just like a boxer. You're going to have go through conditioning and preparation. The lawyers and investigators supply you with that. So
mhm.
when you go to that match, you now have the best strategy. You now have the best way of dealing with this situation, because I'm sure you've been dealing with this for a while now, how
Yeah.
difficult it is to navigate these waters. If you're not ready for this fight, you're going to keep getting knocked down and knocked down. Now,
Yeah.
you can keep getting back up, which is great. You have the determination and the persistence, but you have to maintain that education. You have to learn from the people that have been doing this, which
Mhm.
are the lawyers,
Mhm.
and they know what they're doing, especially Mr. Davis. These people know what they're doing. They've been doing it so darn long. They hear your case and they go, "Oh yeah, we know what the situation and we know why." And
And
you always have
also,
to go with those people.
yeah, and also
Mhm.
the attorneys, any attorney, I'm hoping any attorney, but the attorneys in our office, they actually review the case. They have to review.
Yeah.
They can't just go in there. Oftentimes, people hire attorneys, right? They hire family law attorneys for juvenile cases. That's it. You can't do that.
No, it's not going to work.
If their profession in family law, they can't handle a juvenile case unless they
Mhm.
told you they handled many cases before. It's very important to understand that even in our office, we have attorneys, we have family law attorneys, right? And we have criminal attorneys. So it's kind
Mhm.
of like you have to understand what you're dealing with in order for you to win a case. In order for you to win a case, you have to also review the case. You have to implement a strategy in that case to win the case. Oftentimes people say, I'm innocent, done nothing wrong, I'm a free bird, I'm a great parent, they can't take my kids.
Yeah.
But they can. Because what they do is they set every parent up to fail. Every parent.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you said that I wake up in the morning, I take care of my kids, I fix them breakfast, I take them to school, come home and clean the house and make dinner, blah, 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 blah. If you say that to a worker, the worker would write down, mother seems depressed, mother has nothing to do, mother misses her kids, even when
Yeah.
they're at school. I read
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I've
The
seen
mother
those
said, I never
reports.
said that. Yeah, I never
Amazing.
said that.
Yeah. It's like they try to take power over you, because not once in these past 2 years did they ever consult me of getting an attorney, especially a civil rights attorney. And if
They
it
don't
was
want
an
that.
attorney, yeah, and if it was an attorney, it would be like a county attorney,
Public
or
defender.
just
Yeah.
just to go to a small court to evaluate what I can do with my child, not with them, but with me and my child and somebody else that has nothing to do with them. You know,
Yeah.
so
And
it was.
oftentimes they say that young age, right? But you're a responsible mother. Okay. You're not on drugs. You're not a criminal. You're not on the street prostituting yourself. Oftentimes, and I see kids who are 16 have more common sense than a freaking 50-year-old. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm being honest. And I'm being honest.
That's true.
It's the truth. They have more
Yeah.
common sense than a 50-year-old and up. Um, your age has nothing to do with your ability to mother. And how much is the age difference between you and your ex?
2
2
years.
years, right? But
Mhm.
he's okay to take that child, which he's probably most likely not even taking care of the child. Most
And it
100%.
was. And
Yeah.
it's crazy because I would see him out everywhere without my child.
Wow.
And it's like you guys see this. It's neglectful. You guys supposed to be checking up on my baby if you send him off to he was in foster care before that. And when the only reason why he said I couldn't have my child, which is it shouldn't be his choice anyway, because he wasn't there from conception to birth.
Right.
It shouldn't be his choice anyway, but the only reason why he said I couldn't see my child or keep him for myself is because he was being abused once he got him. But mind you, I haven't even had him 2 months before he was in the foster care system. And I was in the foster care system during that time as well. After I got admitted in the hospital, they kidnapped me and took me into foster care because they believed that my mother was neglecting me. I said, "I'm 16 years old. I have age of consent. I can speak for my own self, and I'm telling you, my mother is not abusing me. You guys are so for the children. You guys are so for your agency is called Child Protective Services. Protect the children. If they want to go home, if they're old enough to speak for themselves, let them go home."
You know what's so sad, Dolly, that you say that kids are old enough to speak for themselves? When a child is 11 or 9 years old and they want to stay with their mom, or 14 or 15 or whatever, right?
Mhm.
The judge doesn't take consideration that the child wants to be home. However, they were talking about something in the news last year where the child at age 4 and up can make a decision what sex he or she wants to be.
Wow.
When I heard that, I kind of like paused a little bit, right? Um, it's okay for a child to decide at that age, which they don't even know who they are at that age, literally.
Yeah.
But yet you're saying that a child cannot make a decision at age 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 that they want to be with their mom or with what?
Yeah.
Right.
The system is so backwards. They lack common sense on all levels.
Mhm.
All levels. And the reason I call judges stupid is because they lack knowledge of basic facts and evidence, and they're literally making a decision based on lies. Stupid, meaning you see evidence, you hear the truth, but you still believe a lie. That's what the definition of stupid is. So to me, judges are what? They're attorneys in black robes. That's all they are.
Mm-hmm.
Attorneys in black robes. I I need to read something to you guys real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay. So
Okay.
there's a judge. It's a public record. Their brother and sister team, and they were on America Got Talent, you know, and they were the semi-finalists. Their parents were going through divorce through family court. The judge that was handling that case was following them. The mother went to Utah and the dad stayed in Hollywood. Now, the judge is not being investigated about this because it's sad to me, but the judge demanded that the kids go to Utah and told the kids that it's evil. Hollywood is evil. And he didn't want them to pursue that career. They were the semifinalists. And what's so sad about all this, the judge, nothing is being done to him. And he put the children in jail because the children refused. Even though the parents agreed that the children stay with the dad because of their career, start off of their career.
Right. Hollywood.
However, the judge refused and put the children in jail with adult criminals with no shoes, no jackets. This is all public record, you people. I'm not making this up. Obviously, I never do. Public records. And traumatized the children, and they stood their ground. They just like, nope, we're not going to Utah. We're going to pursue our career. The judge said, if you don't do what I tell you to do, that I will throw both of you in foster home.
Wow.
And take you from your parents. Yes. Now, this is a family law judge. I'm not going to say his name is public record. You guys can go research on your own. This piece of crap, right? Because he's a judge. He said that to the kids, and he actually threw them in jail. That's age 9. Age 9 years old, not even 10.
All because of his own beliefs.
Well, what beliefs? If he has any belief, he wouldn't do this. See, It's either you have a demonic belief or you have a spiritual belief.
Mm-hmm.
You can't mix the two. It's like fire and water. You can't mix the two.
No, I'm just saying I'm sure it was his belief that these kids were probably going to be in danger if they continued to try and be, in the Hollywood scene, trying to be entertainers. That was his belief. There was no proof that this could ever happen, but he took it upon himself to say, listen, you're going to listen to me because I know better.
Right.
They don't know better.
The exact words he said is Hollywood is evil and they need to grow up normal. Yeah. Not in the entertainment industry is what he constantly told the children. Wow. So he's not the parent, right? If both parents agree on a divorce, agree where the children are going to be, why are you objecting as a judge?
Yeah.
Isn't that what mediators are for? Don't you have to see a mediator before you go to your hearing to kind of mediate and see if you come up to a decision?
Mm-hmm.
To me, I feel, oh God, the system is so corrupt, and I talk to people constantly. I can't process this. The system is so messed up on all levels. Like I said, the abuse is happening within the system. It's not really the parents' home. It's the system that's abusing the children.
Right.
So they're taking kids from great mothers, right? Throw them to the abusive party, or they take kids from both parents and throw them in an abusive foster home.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the mother is always the one to blame. Even if the mother takes the child to a hospital, the mother calls the police for help because there's a domestic violence. Then the police does what? The report goes under the mother's name.
Mm-hmm.
And then CPS takes that report and make it as the mother failed to protect the children.
Yep.
But how did you fail to protect the children when you take the child to the hospital? When you call the police for help? What is the purpose of the police? Serve and protect. That's what they read on their cars, right? Serve and protect. So why can't, and then when you take matters in your own hand, then they say, oh, well, you're a criminal because you're supposed to call for help. But if you call for help, your children are removed from you.
Unfortunately, yeah, you are correct. That does happen.
It does happen. It's been happening all freaking day today.
Yeah,
So
apparently, yeah.
it is. So we have a mother that Jesus Christ, I just can't get over these people. We have a mother that had a newborn baby, a brand new baby on New Year's Day. And she was so excited. The father was so excited. Grandparents were there celebrating at the hospital and what have you. When the father took the child from the mom at the hospital to take a picture with the child's head, I guess, was tilting, not on the child, not on the dad's arm or whatever. So it was his first baby, you know. So the grandmother was telling the dad, hey, keep the baby's head elevated.
Yeah.
So the father said, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. And he was like, you know, he was so happy. And all of a sudden, the nurse comes, looks at all this, calls Department of Child Services, that the father abused the child because he didn't know how to hold the child.
It's just that easy.
Wow.
Yep. That was on New Year's Day. Okay.
But who are they to say how to hold a child? They might not be the ones knowing how to hold a child. Some of them don't even have children.
It doesn't matter when you're a brand new parent. Okay. You can educate the parent. You can say, you know what? And the mother already educated him. So it's not like the grandmother, I mean. So they're brand new family. They've never had babies before. Mm-hmm. So instead of you doing this, you piece of shit, really, nurse, you could at least educate the family for the love of God. Mm-hmm. Educate them instead of reporting them to CPS. And then they take their brand new baby from them while they're celebrating New Year's Day at the hospital. There was no criminal records. Brand new babies. I mean, brand new baby, brand new family. They just got married last year. And they wanted to have a family. They wanted to start a family. Why would you do that?
It's like they're snatching our babies right from the womb.
Exactly. Exactly. And then on top of that,
I have an interesting question, Georgette. Mm-hmm. This was a client of mine. Basically, she's a single mom. She lives here in California. She's in her 30s, has let me get this right, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, both girls, both hers, been divorced for a while. The father does not live here. He lives out of the country. And the 8-year-old, this was middle of last year, was at home. They were both playing. Both girls were playing in the backyard. One of them hurt her knee, scraped it up pretty good.
Wow.
Fell down, also hurt her arm. Little scratches here and there. They were playing in the backyard. Both girls come in. The little girl's kind of crying. She's hurt. So the mom cleans it up and says, you know what? Noticing about a day later, there's a bruising on her knee. She's not sure, but the little girl's having trouble limping. Now, as a concerned mother, you would want to take that child in to see the doctor, pediatrician, whatever. She's 8, you know, and she's noticing that there is some pain when she walks. So we need to take my child in. And she's a single mom and she doesn't have any relatives here. So she takes the advice of a friend of hers, make an appointment, go in to see your doctor, her pediatrician. Okay. Both kids were born here. Now, logical thing to do was, yes, take your child in to get her leg looked at. Just like you would if you were an adult. You hurt yourself, you go in, man, this ain't healing right. It's hurting. The mom's concerned about her daughter, her 8-year-old, takes the child in, signs in, waits for the doctor, goes in, and they're in a little room, and the nurse comes over and starts talking to the child. Notices the bruises on the knees, obviously, scratches that had been there about 4 or 5 days. The arm has a little bruise on it too, and asks the mom, what happened? Well, my children were outside playing. This one fell. I said, okay, well, the doctor's going to come in and see you in a little bit. Now, that's the logical, right thing to do for a parent, okay? What happened next is she never knew that something like this would happen. The same situation you were talking, the nurse goes out and calls, okay? Actually calls security first. For some reason, we're still not sure why that happened, but in order to detain her in case she takes off. She calls the police and then calls social services. Within minutes, it's almost like they must have been next door having lunch together. They show up and separate the children and the mom and start questioning. Before she knows it, the kids are gone. Where's my children? I want my kids now. She didn't know what to do. And this is a mom that is very well off, runs 2 separate businesses, lives in a really nice part of town. Had to get a hold of a lawyer, but before she could, her kids were gone. They took both her kids for fear that the nurse thought the mom did this
The nurse.
and was blaming it at
The
the
nurse
children fell
stopped.
several
Right.
days ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's one of the cases that I've been dealing with. And it is, I mean, she's looking at me going, how could this possibly happen? I run 2 businesses. I have degrees. I have all friends in high places.
Yep.
And my 2 beautiful kids are gone. She hasn't seen them in months because, COVID, and then they cancel visitation. And so it is a big issue that she never thought she would be involved in. And what I'm saying is, what are parents supposed to do? If their children are hurt and they take them in, and this could easily happen, I'm astonished that something like this can happen, but it does all the time. I have cases I'm working on then, and it's incredible.
Let me tell you what's happening. First of all, to all your nurses out there and all the doctors out there,
And they were listening.
I know they are.
They are.
Payback. I mean, karma is a bitch. Okay,
Mhm.
karma. Because I had 2 calls from nurses last year in the November of 2021 and in July of 2021. And both nurses had their kids removed from their custody. Now, they're 2 separate nurses, 2 separate states and counties. And one of the nurses that I was on the phone with, she said, Georgette, I used to call DCFS on parents all the time. I know
Wow.
how it feels to be away from your own daughter, from your own child. She said, I feel like it's karma. That's what she said to me. And I said, I'm not here to judge you. All I can tell you is this: karma is a bitch. Don't ever assume, you nurses out there and doctors, that it's abuse, because you're not in the home, right? The
Mm.
child, the children will tell you if there is abuse. The children will tell you, but don't just take it upon yourself to assume it's abuse.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes the child will say, my dad abused me.
Yeah.
And
Or
they
mommy
still
hit
give
me.
the child to the
Yeah.
father.
Because kids don't know how to lie. One
They
thing
don't know
about
how to-
children,
Right.
they don't know how to lie.
They don't know how to lie. So stuff like this that happens constantly in hospitals and schools and
It's
therapists and
amazing.
all this stuff, they get funding now. People don't know this. We had a call from Italy. I had a call from Italy. A school therapist is hiding in Italy. She was a Los Angeles County school district school therapist. She was pressured to lie about a new kid who was shy. And then the principal said, I want you to report that child's family to DCFS. So she said no, because the child is brand new at the school. He's just shy.
Right.
He just needs to get accustomed to kids. He said, do what I tell you, or we're not getting the funding. That woman is hiding in Italy because she recorded the therapist. I mean, the principal.
The principal, yeah.
She threatened to sue him for false allegation on a parent that had nothing to do with abuse. And she was threatened for her life, and she hid in Italy. I couldn't call her back, but she had me listen to the recording over the phone. She said, I can't give you my number because it's Italy, and I'll call you again. But she can't come back because they threatened her life.
Wow.
So there's schools get funding. Therapy gets funding. That's why oftentimes you go to a therapist and then you tell the therapist, my husband and I argue over money because COVID, he lost his job, I lost my job, etc., etc. I just need help to deal with the situation. The therapist, what does the therapist do? Report her to CPS. Domestic violence. Why? Because she mentioned arguing with my husband about money.
Yeah.
Same thing with the hospitals. They get funding. So it's all about money. Anything that has to do with CPS is all about money.
It all comes down to
Money. That's all it is. Police officers are in on it. Everybody's in on it. The only ones who are not in on it are people like you and
Mm-hmm.
So you're not a good mom. You're deemed a bad mom because you took your child to the hospital. If you are an abuser, you will not take your child to the hospital or the doctor. You wouldn't give a monkey's ass about your child.
Exactly. Yeah.
You wouldn't care. Like, well, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But they take children, especially children who are nourished, children who are healthy, children who are put together well, children who are adoptable.
Who
if
are
a child
adoptable.
is broken, they don't want to do anything with the child. Like that documentary they have on Netflix about, I forgot the name of the child that was murdered by his mother and her boyfriend.
Gabriel, little
Gabriel.
8-year boy.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
They
it.
didn't
Yeah.
remove him.
Yeah.
Why? Because
Everybody
nobody
knows.
wants him. He's
Yeah.
damaged goods to them.
And most of the time, they take children who are just wealthy and good at home because they know it's more money they can get out of them.
Yeah. It's all
They know
about
it's
money.
more money they.
Especially if the child is a handicap, like, no, I shouldn't say handicap, special need child.
Yeah.
They are the most beautiful, innocent angels. How are you going to destroy their whole world? You remove a child from a mother because he's special needs or she's special needs because the mother took him to the doctor. And also they remove children in special need kids because the mother couldn't make a doctor's appointment because of COVID and the office was closed. But yet all the years of the child's life, the mother has been taking them to the doctor. She's been consistent. But because of COVID, they're making that as an excuse to take children because the mother missed one appointment. Yet the schools were closed, the country was closed, and you're taking children from their mother, because they missed one freaking appointment with the doctor. You pieces of shit. The system is nothing but corrupt, and they pick and choose who they F with.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna go to what's his name? The guy from 2.5 Men.
Which one? Charlie Sheen?
Charlie Sheen.
Mhm.
Drugs all his life, cocaine, and you name them.
Admittedly, yes.
And he admitted it. And yet
he knows.
He didn't lose his kids. He didn't lose
traveled everywhere with his kids.
Angelina Jolie had a fight with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
They had divorce. They had domestic violence. They didn't lose their kids.
I mean, yeah, I was just gonna mention her too. Just because she's a celebrity, she has all kinds of kids from different countries, different race, different.
Yep.
They're not doing anything.
They have their own kids together too. So, but they pick and choose who they mess with because they know you can't afford a big attorney. People can't afford just to hire any attorney. And oftentimes people settle for court-appointed attorney because they can't afford.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah. And I call them court pretenders. And other people also settle for attorneys. Like, for example, they settle for attorneys who are family law attorneys. Now, even Mr. Davis says, make sure you hire a juvenile dependency attorney, not family law.
It's very specific, yes.
Attorneys are not going to help you, especially if they've never handled a CPS case before. However, they take a small retainer and say they can help you. It doesn't make sense when they don't help you. So oftentimes people just go with it. And I tell people this: ask your attorney what strategy he or she has for your case.
That's the key word, strategy.
Strategy. Strategy
Mhm.
is what helps you with your case. It's not about you being right in court. Mr. Davis, it took him 3 years with me to get this in my head because me and him used to argue back and forth over this topic. He would tell me this: do people want to get their kids or they want to be right? Well, it's about justice. They deserve justice. Mr. Davis said, nope, it's about getting your children back. Focus on getting your children back first.
Yes, push that anger
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
and listen to
All
your
the
attorney.
is irrelevant. All the rest is irrelevant until you get your kids back. I
Yeah.
was actually telling Art this today. Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings. Your feelings keep you in bed. Your mind tells you to get the hell up. Your feelings keep you in bed. You can't operate based on feelings in court. They don't care about your feelings because they have no feelings. So they can't feel your feelings because they don't operate on feelings. They're demons. Demons don't have feelings,
Mhm.
right? We're dealing with a narcissist or a sociopath. They have no feelings. All
Yeah,
they
they
care
don't
about
care.
is they're in control and they want to win. Period. That not the best interest of the child, not the well-being of the child. They don't give a monkey's ass about your child or you.
Yeah, and that's where strategy comes into play.
Yeah, the strategy
Yeah.
is the key to
You have to
winning
know how to
the
work.
case. And if you don't know how to use the strategy, or you don't have a strategy, then might as well just be somebody's just bank teller machine. Just keep giving him money or her.
Yeah.
It's not gonna get you anywhere. It's just
Because
not.
I don't believe in believing in man, because I believe in God wholeheartedly. Like I don't trust in no man, especially the man who believes they're the man, you know.
Yep.
But I would, put everything to the side, make it relevant that I get my child first, then come back and get all of them, because this right here, they're separating families. They rather keep their kids, give them Christmas presents
Right.
and wake up to them on Christmas while our children are in their facility
Right.
locked up. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's not right. They have their children buying them Christmas presents with our children's money. That's supposed to be our money we're supposed to be buying for our children. You
Exactly.
know?
You know what? Speaking of presents, I realized also, I forgot to mention this earlier on today on my show, that in the juvenile dependency whorehouse, I call it, court, what they do is they have like all kinds of toys, like all kinds of stuffed animals, all different colors or whatever. And when a child cries over their mom, right, they give them a toy and they bribe kids. Oh, if you go to this home, they're gonna get you this, they're gonna buy you this, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Right? And then when a mother's visitation is terminated, not because the mother did something wrong, it's because the social worker is a scumbag.
Right.
Mhm.
Right? Then they tell the child, your mama did not want to see you today, Jacob. Your mama didn't want to see you, Alexander. She canceled the visit. So Jacob in mind is, and Alexander is like, our mom don't love us anymore. And then they resent the parent, right? When Jacob cries over the mother at night, or Alexander, then the foster parent files a restraining order against the mom, and she tells the judge that the mother is traumatizing the children,
It's causing them distress.
causing them
Complete
distress.
lies
Yeah, which is this is causing them distress all the time. The
all the time.
child is crying for their mother,
Mhm.
and because the tears for the mom is causing them distress. And this is constantly. It happens daily. Daily.
And it's crazy because they look at it as unhealthy for the children.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, what? That's incredible.
They try everything to stop the mother from
Mhm.
being in the child, like literally completely take the mother completely out of the child's life. And the children, they grow up to be 14 and 13 and 12. And guess what? They remember that toy that was given to them in court
Hmm.
to stop them from crying over their mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While the mother is bleeding, there's oftentimes mothers they have like a heart, it's called a broken heart.
Syndrome.
They actually develop like a heart disease.
Yeah.
It's like that caused from trauma. And usually when you explain this to somebody, they don't understand the extent. And I told one of my male friends, I told him, I said, your wife carries your child's DNA in her for the rest of her life. You as a father, you're the protector, you protect your children, you love your kids. But the connection between a mother and her child is completely different. Completely different. My mother used to feel my pain before I told her about my pain. My mother knew when I had a flu, when I didn't tell her I had the flu. And we did not live together. My mother knew when I was sad, when I wasn't home, to tell her I was sad. So there is a connection between a mother and her child.
Mm-hmm.
And I spoke about this on my show before. My dad on Father's Day used to tell me to go thank my mother and wish her a happy Father's Day. I was 14 at the time, and he's done this to me for years because I used to buy my dad ties all my living days on earth with him. Every Father's Day, I bought him a tie. I don't know why, he never wears it, but as a little girl, I used to love the looks of ties. So my mom would just give me the money, go buy the tie, pick the color I want, and give it to my dad. And my dad, every time he would say, go kiss your mom, kiss her on the hand, thank her for all the work she's done for you and your sister and your brother, blah, blah, blah. So, but I tell my dad, you've done a lot for us too. You work for us, you provide for us, or what have you. He said, if it wasn't for your mom, I wouldn't be able to do any of this.
Mm.
So there was a wisdom in my dad, wisdom, just wisdom. And I see the system as a young child. I used to think it works. The system works. I used to think there's more good than evil. However, when I lived as I got older, I'm in my 50s now, and I'm telling you this, the system is broken and is corrupt, and there is literally, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. People say, how do we make a change? I say, what does Mr. Davis say? Vote them out. Vote them out.
And recently, they've been taking themselves out.
Yeah.
Recently, they've been what do you call it? Oh my God, stepping down.
They've been stepping down. Yeah.
Stepping
Mhm.
down.
You know, the job is
Not
stressful.
facing the consequences behind their actions.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
No, they're
that-
realizing, people are coming after them. Laws are being changed. And then every day, people are more aware of how corrupt and
Yep.
how upside down everything is. And if you know what? If we're wrong, prove us wrong. Tell us. But how many people now do we know between you and I, Georgette, that they were in the system, they were in that special little club,
Mhm.
they got out, and now they're talking to us about it? Prove us wrong.
Yep.
Right.
We don't see the proof from
No.
judges to lawyers to people that are within that system. They know it's corrupt.
Yep.
That's why they're leaving.
I think ever since COVID hit, everybody started seeing the real of everything. They started using mind control to keep us locked down, and God turned it around like, no, everybody's about to stay woke. I mean, I think before COVID, everybody was just out there. They didn't know what to do.
They didn't know what was
Our
going on.
minds were shut off. Yeah, our minds were shut off. We didn't know what to do.
But you
Since
know what,
COVID hit.
Valerie? They took children during COVID. They took so many kids during COVID lockdown because the
Mhm.
teachers would say, Christina did not log in today for her class session. I think there's some type of abuse going on. And then those idiot, bankrupt, depleted, idiot social workers go to the house and remove Christine. because the teacher said she missed a session. But did the teacher call the parents and say, hey, so what's going on? Is your internet working? Because I know the country is, going crazy, and, we're trying to adjust, and we're all working together to adjust, or what have you. She didn't do that. How come?
That's just like saying the social worker could miss one day of being sick. Am I going to fire you? Am I going to fire you? Am I going to take you to jail for missing one day of work? Missing one day of work of kidnapping kids? Am I going to fire you?
Yeah.
No, because you're still going to have your job.
The biggest thing about what Vincent is doing, and Georgette and all the people associated around his world, is the difference is we're opening up people's mind.
Yep.
We're setting a new level of fight. Because before, my whole world of investigations was just follow the husband, follow the wife. A lot of it dealt with criminal investigation.
Right.
But all of a sudden, a few years back, CPS popped up on my radar. I had somebody come to me and said, I need your help investigating this. This is really weird. And this was about 4 years ago. This doesn't make sense. My kids were taken away, and I don't know what to do about it. The police aren't helping me. I'm like at the mercy of whatever the Child Protective Services needs. And they want me to go take classes, and it's going to take 10 months. They want to hide me away in classes while my children are stuck in foster, and they're going to be adopted out in 6 months. But I have to complete 10 months of classes? That doesn't make sense. I'm not going to finish in time. And I looked at this was corrupt, and it was wrong. The system doesn't like to be investigated. The problem that they're having nowadays is that more investigators now, us in the private sector, are poking at them, are looking at them, are doing background checks into them, are investigating the monitors, are investigating and doing our own surveillance, watching the foster families, watching the parents that are abusive, and we're turning it around. And we are now providing reports. We're providing video. We're providing an investigation. They don't like us. They don't want to be looked at. They don't want to be investigated. And now that we are doing that with all of us, because they can't stop us, we can go and talk to whoever we want. We can videotape where we want, and they don't like that. It's driving them nuts. And we are applying so much pressure now that things will have to start changing. They will have to, or every single one of them will be exposed.
Right. But the thing about it is, what those I shouldn't say that. What those idiots, those bankrupt individuals, CPS workers, they don't want to get caught because they're criminals, right? But we pay their salary. Like at the end of the year, when I pay taxes, which is every year,
yeah, I know,
I'm paying them.
Yeah,
them, right? And then they go after mothers, right? And then they take child support from them on top of that.
Yeah, it's a
they
lot.
Lost their babies to the abuser. The abuser makes more money than them. He paid off the judge, paid off the court reporter, paid off people in the courthouse, right? And yet they take money from the mother to pay him child support.
Yeah.
Right? You get me, right? If you have money, you will be able to have your kids because you can pay them off. You don't have money and the mother is struggling, they will take the kids from her and give the kids to the abusive party that has the money. So this has nothing to do with the children. So they call it Child Protective Services. Why? I have no freaking idea.
A lot of people are like that. They don't know why.
But there's people, Art, who still believe that the system works. There are still people who say that we need child protective services. That's BS on all levels. I don't give a frick who you are. If somebody tells me this, there's something wrong with you. If you think the system works, it works for you because you want the system right here.
Yeah.
That's why the system works. Or you married somebody in the system.
Yeah.
Or you have a title. You have 7-8 cars. You have 15 properties.
Right.
That's who the system is going to work for. But when was it a crime that a mother lost her job and she's homeless in a shelter, like one of the cases today?
Mm-hmm.
They took her baby from her. Well, not a baby, but a 3-year-old toddler from her because she lost her job. She had no place to live. And the father of the child refused to pay her child support to survive. So they took the baby, and guess who they give the baby to? The father.
Yeah.
Who violated the court order for 10 years. He violated restraining order with another woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another relationship before her.
Right.
And when he beat her when she was pregnant with the child, there was another restraining order that he violated. He violated the court order for not paying child support, right? The mother lost everything during COVID. So when she called me today, she said, Georgette, they took my baby, my child from me because I went to a shelter as she was advised to go. That's what her landlord told her to do if she can't afford the rent, to go to a shelter, and the shelter is going to help her get Section 8 housing. So she did. Instead of them helping mothers to get Section 8 housing or be able to have a roof over their head until they're on their own 2 feet again, right? They rather give the funding to a foster parent who has no idea about the child,
Mm-hmm.
right? Build no relationship with the child and give the foster parents funding instead of giving it to the mother of the child.
Mm-hmm.
So the system is broken. And Art was talking about this lady he's working with.
Mm-hmm.
She did nothing. Her attorney has to come with a strategy to win this case because she has, she's done nothing.
Done
You know
nothing
how many
wrong.
times I fell, Art, when I was growing up? I used to be my dad used to call me his little monkey because I would literally not stop. I would jump on the couch. I would do all kinds of moves, and I would go on the roller skating and do hopscotch. You know the hopscotch, whatever.
Oh, sure.
The one that you have to do the with the chalk on the ground. Which
Oh,
one
yeah.
is that, Dolly? I can't remember. I think it's like.
Isn't that hopscotch?
Was
Or am
it?
I
I
thinking
can't
something else?
remember. But I used to play it with my friend. But anyways, I used to injure my knee all the time. All the time. So not once did my teacher say my father or my mother is abusing me. I didn't even know CPS existed back in the days.
Yeah. Can you imagine back in the 80s
Yeah.
where we grew up? We grew up outside. We didn't really have Atari systems yet till the late 80s, whatever. But
Yeah.
we played outside. We were on our bikes. We did sports. We played. We climbed trees. We climbed rocks. We fell.
Yeah.
We hurt ourselves.
Yeah.
It was to the point where we hurt ourselves so much as young kids. We didn't
Yep.
even tell our parents anymore. We had a scratch on our back from falling off a chain link fence. I'm like, there's no way in heck I'm talking to my parents about this. I'm just going to hide it and clean it myself. If CPS was around back then, how many thousands of kids would have been taken away because we were constantly bruised and cut? But we did it because we were playing, because we were children. Nowadays, you take a child in for an unusual ache in his knee,
Right.
you could possibly have that child taken away. And these are parents, they don't understand it yet until it happens to them.
Yeah.
The support has to come from everybody and an understanding that people, this can happen to you. In a second, your child can be gone, and you can be the best, loving, amazing parent in the world. If somebody else deems a problem, they're going to take your children, and that's unfortunate.
You know,
I
it's
feel like.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Mister. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I feel like it's more advanced nowadays with CPS because they're so demonic. They will tap into phones now. Social media, kids be on TikTok,
Yep.
Instagram, all that. They'll tap into phones to see what is really going on. Like, they'll
because
take
they have the
children's phones.
means.
Oh, I need to take your phone. Yeah, you can't speak to your mother anymore. We need to be on. You need to be on supervision, or she needs to be on the supervision list. Like, who are you to tell me I can't speak to my mother? I feel like they try to keep mothers away from their children more than the fathers because they know we can take care of our children better than anybody, no matter what. A baby's gonna always need their mother.
Yep, they
no
do.
matter what.
And they keep the children silent from their mom. So it's abuse
Mhm.
for women and children. I'm being honest. Most of the calls I get, when I say most, I'll say like maybe 95% of the calls I get are all mothers.
Mhm.
The rest
Yeah.
is fathers.
Yeah.
The rest are fathers. But what I don't understand is there's oftentimes I get cases where people call us and they say, Georgette, the father is in jail, but they're giving him my kids. And I say, why was he in jail? Oh, he killed someone. He's coming out on good behavior. And I said, so you mean to tell me you have nothing against you and the father was in jail and he's coming out on good behavior and he's going to have the kids? Yes, Miss Georgette.
What's fascinating is I've heard that before, and the situation is true. It's
Yeah.
amazing when you hear these stories. You're like, well,
Wow.
that can't be right. That doesn't.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
No, that BS happens.
Yep. It
And
happens
it's
all the time.
unfortunate.
And there's
Mhm.
firefighters who actually have custody of their kids because of their little scheme with the system, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
they actually left the kids alone in the house,
Yeah,
ages 3 and 4.
I've seen it.
Okay. They left the kids alone in the
Terrible.
house. And when the kids spoke up about abuse when they were ages 9, right? Guess what? CPS did not remove the kids from the abusive party because he's a firefighter,
Yeah,
because his wife is a judge, because his mother is an attorney, and his aunt works for the Department of Child Services.
yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like the kids are the ones suffering. They have no voice whatsoever. And then they teach the children to keep everything silent.
yeah,
You have two children going to, because the stepmom is a judge, they're afraid to speak because the dad and the judge told them that we know everybody in the system.
yeah.
That
They're
they will
traumatized and they're afraid to say anything.
traumatize the kids.
Yeah,
So what do? Teach the children to lie. The kids don't want to lie because they love their mother, right?
hmm
But they tell their mother, hey, I'm sorry, mom, but I have to. I have to lie about you, mom, because if we don't, we get in trouble.
yeah. And the kids don't want to be in
Yeah,
trouble.
they're scared.
They want to please. They
That
don't
is
want people
correct.
yelling at them.
It's
You
not about
know.
yelling at them, Art. It's worse than that. Kids don't get in trouble. They're not scared because of a yelling. There's more severe punishment than that.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
A child will not be scared just because of a yelling. Yeah, the pull with Diane said it's also the pull with this where that a person has with the court has within the courts. That is correct. That is correct. You can be a sociopath, you can be a murderer, but if you marry a judge or a district attorney and you're a firefighter, you're
Yeah.
good
Mhm.
people.
Nobody looks at it.
Nobody looks at it.
Yeah.
But they deem the mother unfit. They lie about the mother's reports. They take children from the mother. And here is the judge, the stepmom, and the firefighter dad looking like heroes, right?
Yeah.
And that's
But
all the
those,
kids.
yeah,
Right.
those kind of people need to be
Yeah.
investigated.
Yeah.
They need to be looked at.
Yeah.
And people like me, that's what we do. We go
Yeah.
out and we start chipping away at their background. We start looking at them. We start following them. We
Yeah.
start running reports and doing surveillance on these people, and
Yep.
the pressure gets to them.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, there is a difference that
People,
people make.
yeah, but these people in front of other people, they actually act like super like they act like they're super parents because they care about, like the kids would say things like um the kids will tell their mother things like dad is only nice in front of people, dad is super dad in front of people, but when somebody's watching, when nobody's watching, I mean, he becomes the other dad.
Yeah.
So kids get older and they see it, but the kids school think the real mother is something is wrong with her because the other mother is taken over, right? When I tell people this, nobody can replace you with your children. No one.
Mm.
I don't care if they married to the vice president herself. She will never fill the shoes of your own mother. ever, ever. And your kids, I mean, Dolly, your case, I hate it because when I was speaking to you on the phone, I just fell in love with you instantly. You're such a
Mm,
sweetie. And I just can't process what you're going through because you're younger. You're a
yeah,
young, um, but I'm sure we can figure something out, Dolly. You have my number. Let's talk later. Not this
of
week.
course.
I have over 200 people to call. This
It's
week.
busy.
Yeah, it's
It's
You're a
very
busy.
very busy woman. You're a
yeah,
very busy
and
woman.
people, please, I'm begging you. If I don't return your call, that doesn't mean I don't forgot about you. It's just that I'm trying my best. I can't work 24/7, even though I try, but I do need at least 2 hours of sleep. And
At
there's a
Yeah.
least.
lot of
Yeah.
people who call me at 1:30 in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. Please be mindful. I need to rest my brain so I can function the second day. So don't call me. Text me your name, your full name, and the state the case is in, and I will save you to my phone, and I will definitely give you a call back. But please, just be patient, okay? So the show's coming to an end, or it is. Well, it's, yeah, 8 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah,
About
over.
ending.
It's
About
always
ending.
like that, though. It's so
Yeah.
weird. But Dolly, thank you so much for joining me today, baby.
Thank you guys.
Nice
Thank
meeting
you,
you, Dolly.
Nice to
and
meet you too.
I'm gonna give you. Well, you have Art's phone number, Dolly. He's also
Yes, I do.
for what you need,
Yes,
and Art is gonna be with me again at 7 o'clock tonight.
I will be back.
Next week we're gonna have Dave back as well. He's another private eye and out of state, and I forgot the name of the state. I can't believe it,
He's
but
out of Illinois.
Illinois. So
Yeah.
thank you, Art. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's a
So
good guy. Dave is an amazing investigator. He's been
yeah,
doing this a long he's been doing this about as long as I've had birthdays. So he's very well
you're
versed
calling
in
him
this.
old man. Is that what you're calling him?
Now I'm calling myself old too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we're both old.
You're
Yeah,
both old.
we're both old. Art.
Yeah.
Except Dolly, she's not old, not yet. But
And
the
I
system
want to
is gonna
say,
get her there. Yeah.
I'm so glad we're one of the few to take a stand. Like, this is an important, like, this is really an important mission to accomplish. And I want to get these people exposed because through God, all these demons are going to be exposed.
Yes,
So,
amen. With God,
Yes.
amen.
anything is
You
possible.
got
Amen
it.
to that. With God,
Mhm.
anything is possible. We just have to believe and we have to trust
Yeah.
Keep
Him.
fighting. Keep fighting.
Keep
Yep.
fighting. The thing about it is,